Oh hi, Olale from Untitled. Do you need to communicate the word disadvantage at some point? Have you been asked the question, what do you think about a certain project? What do you think about a certain product? What do you think about a certain service? What do you think about a merger? What do you think about a job? What do you think about a law? And of course, you would like to communicate why you think something might not be successful. So you need to use the word disadvantage at some point. So what do you say? How do you communicate a disadvantage of a certain thing with the word disadvantage? Do you say disadvantage, 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 disadvantage? Or you say disadvantage in a different way? Of course, you need to say disadvantage of a certain thing because you can't keep saying yes, yes, yes to every idea or every project and much more. At some point, you might need to say why you think something might not be successful. So in this video, I'm sure you must have guessed right, we've been looking at other ways to say disadvantage so that we don't keep repeating the word disadvantage. Otherwise, we're going to be back all the time with the word disadvantage. You know, in the movie Terminator, where Arnold Schwarzenegger is always saying, I'll be back. Of course, you can't be back all the time with the word disadvantage because I know disadvantage is an old friend and you're comfortable using disadvantage. But of course, we could alternate disadvantage. We can change disadvantage so that you don't come across as being flat all the time when you speak. The goal should be to speak in a different way, to be able to change your vocabulary every time. So today's video is about other ways of saying disadvantage. Don't go away, I'll be back, but not with disadvantage, but with other synonyms of disadvantage. Welcome back. If this is your first time here, my name is Olale from Onetutor, bringing you great tips on how you can speak English effectively. One of the goals of this channel is to give power to you. Is to give power to you through effective vocabulary that will help you take your English to the very top. Hit the like button if you're learning just a little bit of English every time. You might also consider subscribing to the channel somewhere down here if you haven't done that already, so you can stay notified of great videos like these that will help you make a change every time. Now let's go into the video. So you might need to give your opinion about a certain job, about a merger, about a task, a project. It could be about a law, it could be about anything. You can be asked a question, what do you think about a certain thing? And you feel that a certain thing that you might want to undertake, or perhaps your company wants to undertake, might not have success because you can see a certain disadvantage of doing a certain thing. So you need to alternate. You need to change the word disadvantage every time you speak. So number one, you might be able to use, or you should use, the word drawback. Can we say it together, everyone? Drawback. So you can simply say the drawback of a certain thing is that. The drawback of a certain thing is that. Or you can say the drawbacks are. The drawbacks are. So you're saying that I don't think it's a good idea for us to do a certain thing because we would have, there might be some certain drawbacks. Number two, you can simply say the downside of a thing. You can say, of course, I understand that it's good for us to do a certain thing, a certain project and much more, but of course there will be certain downsides. Okay, you can simply say there will be a downside of doing a certain thing. Please say with me, everyone, downside, downside. Or you can simply say, I guess, a thing we want to do, there might be some certain limitations. It might bring about some certain limitation, or it has certain limitations. So you're simply trying to communicate the disadvantage of a certain thing by saying, well, I guess there are certain limitations if we undertake a certain project. Please say with me, everyone, undertake. Undertake. Undertake simply means to do, to be responsible for a certain project or a certain task. So you can simply say, well, I guess there are some limitations, or you can say there is a limitation in this project or in something that you've been asking your opinion about. Number 4, you can simply say, well, there are some weak points in doing a certain project. I guess there are some weak points in doing a certain project. Can we say it together, everybody? Weak points. Weak points. Number 5, we can simply say there are some negative aspects of doing a certain thing. So you could simply say, well, I'm not sure it's a good idea for us to do a certain thing because of the negative aspects of doing that thing. So you can think about negative aspects of doing a certain thing. So you can use all of these to communicate that there's a disadvantage of doing a certain thing. Of course, you can also use these words when you are writing about disadvantage. If you want to write about disadvantage of a thing, you can also use them when you write or perhaps when you're speaking orally with people. The goal is for you to be able to alternate your vocabulary. The goal is not for you to speak in the same way all the time. You must attempt to change every time. Every time you are using a vocabulary, you must start with one vocabulary and attempt to alternate by using another vocabulary. If you're talking to 5 people and you want to communicate disadvantage of a certain thing, you must be able to alternate the word disadvantage and use other words. Thanks for watching today's video, everyone. If you have questions about the video, kindly leave them in the comment section. Remember, practice makes perfect, and I'll see you at the next one.